Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's tutorial is for our beginners just starting their fashion journey. In this video, I'll be showing you guys how to draft some basic necklines. And if this is like a tutorial you are interested in, keep on watching, subscribe to the channel, and let's get started. So guys, I've gone ahead to draft out my basic bodies looking like this. I have my shoulder, my armhole, and I left the neckline area because that is where we are going to be drawing the different necklines. I will go ahead to mark out 3 inches for my neck width, how wide I want it to be, and I will also go down by 4 inches for how deep I want it to be. You can use small inches if you want, but to get a perfect neckline, I would advise if you want your neckline to be wide, it should not be too deep, and if it is too deep, it should not be too wide for the neckline to sit perfectly. So now I will go ahead to connect the lines with my pencil, as you can see, and this is for my round neckline. I was just erasing the unnecessary lines, so I will go ahead now to make the line visible with my marker, and now I can go ahead to cut it out. And that is all for the round neckline. It's so easy to cut out. For most of my necklines, I'll be making use of 3 inches for my wideness, and I will also go ahead to mark that on my shoulder for the V neckline, and I will go ahead and mark how deep I want it. So here I am making use of 7 inches. You can decide to go down more if you want, and I will just connect in a straight line from that point down to my neck width I mark earlier, and I will go ahead and make the line visible with my marker, and I will just go ahead and cut it out. You can see it's very easy to cut out, and that is all you have to do for the V neckline. The next neckline will be the monostrap or one shoulder. I will also go ahead to mark out 3 inches wide and 3 inches for the depth, and I'll connect the line like so. I decided to use my hand just to let you know, if you don't have a curve ruler, you can use your hand as well. So I'll go ahead to mark it out with my marker to make it visible. So guys, I forgot to tell you the pattern is cut on fold. So now I will go ahead and cut out the part I marked. When I'm done cutting, I will open up the pattern paper, and this is what is going to look like. Now for this mono strap, remember I said it is one shoulder, so that means we'll be cutting off one shoulder of the pattern. Now you can decide if you want the armhole, part of the armhole, to be left or to be completely removed. So I will go down by 5 inches like you can see, and I marked it, and I will connect from the neckline I cut down to the part I marked. That is if you still want part of the armhole to remain, if you don't want to show some cleavage, and you can decide to cut off the whole armhole if you're okay with it. So that is that, and I will just make the lines visible also with my marker using my French curve, as you can see, and I will go ahead and cut it out, and we have our one shoulder neckline. You can see some armhole remaining, or you can decide to completely remove the armhole. It is still okay. I hope that is understood, and that is that. And now I'll also go ahead and cut it out, and we have our mono strap, which is also known as one shoulder neckline, and we are good to go. I hope it is well understood. This neckline is one of my favorite neckline and it's so easy to cut. So I went ahead to mark 3 by 3 inches just to serve as a basis, and from the shoulder I will go down by 1 inches and I will just extend the line into my armhole with my French curve, as you can see. And if you want it to be more opened, you can decide to extend to down to the end part of the hammer, like you can see. So I will just go ahead now and make the curve more visible, and we are done with the outer neckline. It's so simple and I believe you can understand. So let's just make it visible with my marker. I don't know why I love tracing it out with pencil first, and then I'll go ahead now and cut it out. And guys, this is what our outer neckline looks like. Moving to the other neckline, which is the sweetheart neckline. For this, I will also mark my 3 inches wide and I'm going down by 5 inches. You can go down more if you want it to be deep. So I will connect it with a straight line from my neck width down to the 5 inches I marked, and I will go down at the center front of my basic bodice. I will go down by 7. That is where I want the sweetheart neckline to stop. So I will just go ahead now and connect with my curve ruler, like you can see from that point. And now I will just go ahead now and trace it out with my marker so you can see it better. If you want the curve part to go deeper, you can decide to go down more, or if you can decide to come up, just be creative about it, okay? And that shape is the reason why the neckline is sweetheart neckline. And now we can see that curve part of the neckline. And guys, that is sweetheart neckline. So guys, for the queen hand neckline, it looks like the sweetheart, but the difference is that the line from the shoulder will be tilted towards the armhole. Like I did for the sweetheart, I'll go down by 5 inch from my shoulder width, and I'll connect that point in a straight line to give me a straight line. As you can see, I was making sure I have the exact 3 points from the center front. So from there, I'll go in by 1 inch. Now this one, it depends on how much you want it to be tilted. So you can go in by 1.5 or 2 inches. So from there now, I'll connect I'll connect my shoulder width to that line I drew now, to the new point I made with my curve ruler. You can make it straight or you can decide to make it curvy like I did. Note, this is not a standard measurement. Like I said earlier, you can decide to increase the neck width or also the neck depth depending on how open you want your neckline to be. So from the center point, I went in also by 7 inches, and I will just connect from that point I made earlier down to the new point at the center front with my curve ruler. I'll make it curvy, and that is all for the queen hand. So you can see it is looking almost like the sweetheart. So please don't get it confused when you see the neckline. So I'll just go ahead now and cut it out, and we are going to see how the final look is going to be. I hope you're understanding. Okay, so guys, we are done with our queen hand, and you can see it. We can see how slanted that point is looking towards the armhole. And now comparing it to the sweetheart neckline, I believe you can see the difference. The both neckline, is also another simple neckline. Some people call it canoe neckline. So this one, I'll be going in by 5 inches for my neck width. And for the down part, I will go in by 2.5 inches. You know, I said if it is too wide, it should not be too deep. And for this particular type of neckline is type of neckline that is a high neckline, a little bit high. So it should not be too deep to give us that perfect boat neckline. So I will just connect it with my ruler, as you can see, and we are done with it. For our beginners, since this video is for our beginners, I told you earlier, if you don't have your French curve, you can use your hand also. Just trace it nicely, and now I'm going to cut it out to show us how it's looking. And now, can we see it looking so nice? The next neckline is the asymmetrical neckline, and for this I'll also go in by marking 3 inches wide and 3 inches deep, and I will connect it just like my round neckline. I'm not cutting yet, it's just serving as my basis so that I will not get confused. Okay, so from the neck width, I'll open up my pattern paper, and I will go down from the neck width I marked from the 3 inches earlier down by 6 inches, depending on how deep you want it. I keep repeating that. So for me not to get confused, I will extend the neckline to the other parts of the pattern paper. That is just serving as a guide for me to cut out the neckline. You can decide to mark it out straight, but I love doing it this way. So I'll just go ahead and also connect it with my marker, and now I will open it up, and this is what it looks like. Remember, I marked down, I already marked a point, so I'll connect it in a straight line like so. Then from the other parts of the neckline, I marked the other side of the 3 inches. I will go in by 1 inch, depending on how open you want it to be. Then I will connect it like that, either in a curved way, or you can make your line straight. If you want it more open, you can still extend the inches inward from the other side of the shoulder, and that is our neckline, the asymmetrical neckline. And now I will just go ahead and cut it out. So for the scallop neckline, I'll make it to be in a V form. You can also use the round form or even square. You can make your scallop to be round, like round neckline, or even square. So I decided to mark my neck with 4 inches and down. This is to make the the scallop more visible and beautiful. So I decided to mark 1 inch interval from the shoulder line down to the V point I marked. So I was trying to form it, and I noticed the scallop design is too small for 1 inch, so I decided to use 2 inches interval. So now I will just go ahead now and make a slight curve from one point to the other, like I'm doing, as you can see me doing. And I will repeat the same thing over down to the point I marked. Just make sure that the curve you're drawing is the same as much as possible, and I will go ahead now and just trace it out with my marker, and I will cut it out now. And that is our scallop neckline, and this is how it looks like, guys. So for the last neckline, which is a plunging neckline, it is just like a V neckline. The only difference is that this is very deep. It extends down to the half length or even waist. So I marked my neck width and I went down by 14 inches for the depth, and I will just make a straight line from that point down like a V neckline. But the only difference, like I said earlier, is it is deep, very deep, deeper than the V neckline. And now I'll just go ahead and trace it out also with my marker and cut it out, and you guys, you're going to see how it eventually looks like. And we are done with the tutorial. I believe you enjoy watching to this point. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye.